Hey, Whisky fans, I'm Chris.
And I'm Kara.
Kara, what do we have today?
Today we have another scotch from Kirkland. This is an 18-year-old Speyside Single malt scotch, sherry cask finished, and again from the Alexander Murray Independent Bottlers.
Nice.
Comes in at 46%.
As always, gotta love that percent though.
Not bad.
So I don't know if this is like old stock, because sometimes they have a release hiding in some warehouse.
That's
and
true.
Then years later you just see it again.
Yeah.
So I really don't know if this is new or...
We just missed out the first time.
Exactly. A couple years ago. I want to say it's new just because I can't find anything, but that doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
But on the back, I was actually surprised because look at how dark that is.
Yep.
It says it was finished in Oloroso for 6 months.
And ex-bourbon.
Well, the ex-bourbon for 18 and then the 6 months for Oloroso, but look at the darkness of that.
Yeah,
right?
true, but depending on the source, it could be E150.
They got me. I was like, oh, that's going to be a sherry bomb.
So it's...
Okay.
That's the only thing. It doesn't say that's
Yeah.
non-chill filtered. It does not say that's not colored, so
We've sampled it out quite a bit.
who knows?
So
let's get into the nose.
let's get into it. Okay. It smells very promising. I'm getting just an orchard of nice
Do you get, like,
fruits.
plums?
Oh, yeah. Some grapes. Which is weird. I've never really had grape on the nose except for a particular distillery.
That's true.
That's weird.
It's like grape jam to me.
Yeah. This is so fruity that you can smell the malt on it, but there's so much fruit it overwhelms. But it's like
I like it.
It's almost like a grown-up Kool-Aid punch kind of like tastiness.
A little bit with that dark caramels
Yeah.
as well on the back. It smells
It's got
really
a
good.
soft touch of wood though. But everything else is just so
Yeah, it's really...
like oh.
It's just overwhelmingly fruity, so that leans to that sherry barrel. And you said only 8 months?
That's 6 months.
6.
It
Only
says 6 months, and that's why I was like, wow, it had to have been a really wet
It
barrel.
smells really good.
Yeah.
It's very fruity. Shall we get into
I
this?
can't wait.
Let's do it. Cheers.
It's not, okay, it's fruity, but not as fruity on the palate as it is on the nose.
Yes.
So the malt was kind of hidden on the nose, but on the palate it comes out more. It's like the fruit was overriding on the nose, and now it just
malty.
kind of reversed it, and they switched places. Now it's more malt forward with the fruit surrounding and playing and having a nice time.
Yes, the previous one we had, the 19-year-old, was much more heavily sherried on the palate than this one is. I'm getting a lot more influence of like the malt and even the bourbon cask because at the end I'm getting like a deep caramel with a touch of wood on the back.
Yes.
And that's that
That's
bourbon cask.
more of the bourbon cask is showing up with more of the fruit.
That's my jam.
But I think you're confusing the 19-year had maltiness on it. I think you're confusing the 24-year that was a huge sherry bomb.
Okay, possibly.
Well, okay,
I meant like it was much
Okay.
more sherried than this one,
I apologize.
right?
I'm being a jerk.
I can't remember.
I'm being a jerk.
The only way to know for sure is to drink some more, but we don't remember.
Okay, so I'm getting more. This definitely has more of the bourbon.
It has a lot more bourbon barrel influence than the sherry, and than the previous ones.
But
there was one time when I can't remember the release, of course. There was one that was like a really toffee-like.
23.
This is darker. This is more like caramels, like dark burnt sugars, but not like burnt. You know what I mean?
So this actually has a nice silkiness to it.
It does.
It's got a slight oiliness to it, so it makes me wonder if both of the ex-bourbon and the Oloroso sherry were first fills. Because it's got the ex-bourbon on it. It's just so...
I know I'm guessing this is
coming
chill filtered. For being not saying that, it still has a great mouthfeel.
It does.
Some people object to chill filtered, but who's to say? You never know what products are going to be chill filtered nowadays unless they do say. But I just think this has a great presentation of that bourbon barrel and great. It does have a great texture. For only 46%, has a great texture. The last couple ones we tried, all of them satisfactory, dare I say, excellent
for the price.
Especially value.
Yeah.
It's just, you can't pass it up. This has kind of gone to the top of the list of the Kirklands for me because of that bourbon barrel and the maltiness and the bourbon barrel finish, that caramel.
Yeah.
I love that in a Speyside.
So there's a lot of these, especially the 24 and the 23, that a lot of the bourbon drinkers actually gravitated more to. This, I don't think they would like it as much if they're thinking they're going to get the 24 sherry bomb or the 23 buttery Scotch, those kind of like brown sugar notes. This one is just, it's just straight up malt. The slight tannic on the finish is coming through once you keep having a couple of sips, and it opens up a little bit more.
You get a little of the wood.
You do, but it's not horrible. It's not like a bitterness to where it just puts you off. It pulls you in and wants you to keep drinking more if you truly love single malt, because that malt is shining through.
It's so good.
And I kind of want to see this expression if they didn't put it in a sherry. What would this true malt be? I think it would actually be really good and hold up.
I know. I would love Kirkland to be able to get their hands on some ex-bourbon single malts only, just to do a fun release. But that's really asking a lot, unfortunately. Who knows where they're sourcing.
I like this. This is really good.
So I know we've trumpeted Kirkland single malt before, but what do you guys think of the Kirkland single malt, the value and the experience? Please give your feedback to us below in the comments. And while you're down there, hit that like button. It really helps the channel. Now, if you like what we're doing, just subscribe to the channel and turn on those notifications, and you'll be notified of our next video dropping. So I don't know if there's any more I can say besides it's just a single malt that you never feel guilty about pouring because of the value and the experience is solid.
You know what? No, I take it back. I do feel guilty because then you'd get to the bottom and then you would have no more.
But you can go and get another single malt somewhere, I'm hoping. If you're lucky.
If you're lucky.
Well, I don't know about you, but
I really fancy this whiskey.
I fancy this whiskey too. Cheers.